Guess how much it costed me to drive from Washington to North Carolina? For those that don't want to wait, it's right here. If not, I'm going to break it all down for you. Now, this costed a lot more than it would normally, not just because of gas, obviously, coming from Washington to North Carolina. It does get cheaper along the way, but my vehicle only gets about 10 to 12 miles per gallon. And so that's one of the reasons why the gas price is so high. But you have to realize the highest price I paid in gas was in Washington, and as I was going east, it got less and less. So the first fill up was about $112, then it went down to about 70, then 60, then 50 all along the way. Now my route is a little unconventional, and so the route that you can see going through basically goes through from Washington to Montana, Yellowstone, Utah, Colorado, and then east. That route was it started off that way, but it got adjusted because of the fact that I just wanted to get back home. So once I got to Yellowstone, I started hearing a ticking sound. I opened the hood and I looked, and I assumed it was one of two things. One, it was a fan clutch because as it wears, it does make that sound. Or it was a bearing inside, which I really did not want it to be the bearing because of the fact that the bearing means that you have to take the cam seals off, basically do a water pump timing belt change. And that's a bigger job than just the fan clutch. I didn't have my tools with me, so what I did was I went to the first shop in Utah. I asked them, which one is it? They assured me that it was the fan clutch, placed the part, the sound was gone, and then I was on my way. So leaving Utah, I paid about $600, give or take. And I'll break it all down in the video at the end. And as I was driving down east, I made it as far as Vienna, Illinois. I was calling it Vienna. It's Vienna. A very small town at the southern tip of Illinois, where my car, the battery light went on and the power steering cut off. Me thinking, oh, the belt slipped when they put on the fan. Maybe they didn't adjust it properly, but I did make it pretty far. I'll just put it on. Pulled over the side, started to put the belt on, and then the fan clutch that they replaced in the fan was wobbling. So I was like, great, it's the bearing. Bearing's working. Now, luckily, I was smart enough to purchase the parts in Utah, thinking if I were to break down in Minnesota or Nebraska in the middle of nowhere before a big city, I would have been screwed because the shop would have never had the part. So because I bought the bearing, I also bought the water pump and the timing belt proactively, because if I were to make it to North Carolina, I was just going to do it myself in my garage. But now I'm in the middle town of nowhere, no tools, looking for a shop on Friday around 4:30, where most shops close around 5. I get in touch with Vine Automotive, and they basically say, yes, we can get to it either Monday, the latest Tuesday. I said, okay, well, I guess I'm staying for the weekend. So I stayed in a bed and breakfast there for the whole weekend, not knowing that everything was closed basically on Sunday, and they close very early almost every day. So most shops are only open there about 11 to 3. They don't have a supermarket there. They're a very, very small town. I think there's like 1,000 people that live in that town vicinity, not the center, but just the whole town itself. They get it done Tuesday, late afternoon around 3 p.m. Mechanics apologizing to me. Totally okay with it. It was a quick job overall. They worked on it Monday and Tuesday. So I know it takes about 5 hours on book for a time belt water pump, 4 hours if you're quick. They don't really work on these type of vehicles, so they took 8 hours, which I'm okay with because the labor, it was actually pretty cheap overall from what I'm used to. And so the price was $733. I included the parts myself. The parts for me were about $400, and then the $733 was for the labor and a little bit things here and there like tax and coolant and stuff like that, the additives that they added to it. I was on the road, kept going, and basically made it to my destination. So here's the breakdown of everything and the total amount.